محمد وآل محمد صلوات. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسعا وهو حسير. ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير. وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير. إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكم نظير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نظير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير. إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير. وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور. ألا يعلموا من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير. هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور. أأمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نظير. ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير. أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير. أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور. أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور. أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهدى أمن يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم. قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون. قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون. ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين. قل إنما العلم عند الله وإنما أنا نذير مبين. فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون. قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم. قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين. قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين صدق الله العلي العظيم. سورة المباركة الفاتحة.
شہنشاہ کائنات امام زمانہ صلوات. بی بی فاطمہ زہرا، بی بی فاطمہ زہرا، بی بی فاطمہ زہرا، بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. اشکوں کا واسطہ سن لیجئے دعا، تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. ہاں تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. مادر ہے شاہ والا کی آپ ہی تو بی بی، جن سے کہا خدا نے ہو جا تو مجھ سے راضی، ان کے ہی صدقے بی بی دیجئے ہمیں رضا. تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. ہاں تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. بے چین ہے طبیعت دل پر نہیں ہے قابو، ہم نے بہائے لاکھوں شہ کے علم میں آنسو، مشکل میں آنسوؤں کی اب دیجئے جزا. تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. ہاں تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. بیماریوں نے ایسا آ کر ہمیں ہے گھیرا، جیسے کہ زندگی میں اپنی ہوا اندھیرا. بی بی باسد کے عابد دیجئے ہمیں شفا، تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. ہاں تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. شبیر کا گلا جو شمر لعین کا تھا، دیتے ہیں واسطہ اس سوکھے ہوئے گلے کا. ہو جائے اپنی ہستی سے دور حادثہ، تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. ہاں تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. جس میں اتار دی تھی ظالم نے ایک برچی، اکبر کے زخمی سینے کا واسطہ ہے بی بی. اکبر سا ہم کو جذبہ مل جائے راضیہ، تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. ہاں تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. تیرے ستم سے جس کو تھا حرملا نے چھیدا، ننھے سے اس گلے کے صدقے میں بی بی زہرا. بچوں کو ہم سبھی کے اب دیجئے حوصلہ، تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. ہاں تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. اشکوں کا واسطہ سن لیجئے دعا، تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. ہاں تیرے در پہ آ گئے ہیں بی بی فاطمہ زہرا. صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد. رحم اللہ من قرأ الفاتحہ.
Shabbeer Kirmani, respected elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Surah Fatiha is requested for the marhumeen's names listed on the screen, all the marhumeen. Al-Fatiha. Dua Shafa Maries is requested for the names listed on the screen and whoever is ill here and elsewhere around the world. Let's recite together. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibul mustarra iza da'ahu yakshifu su. Amma yujibul mustarra iza da'ahu. عما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه يكشف السوء عما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه يكشف السوء عما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه يكشف السوء. There will be a ladies' majlis tomorrow morning at 10:30. Please note this majlis will take place in the gents hall. At this time, I would like to invite Syed Shabbeer Kirmani to come forward and recite tonight's majlis for Muhammad wa ali Muhammad Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة. بسم الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فوضوا أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ونعم المولى ونعم النصير. والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على الرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرض بأبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتجبين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. وقل رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أما بعد، قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتاب الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى. صدق الله العلي العظيم. زينوا مجالسكم بالصلوات على محمد وآل محمد. My respected elders, brothers and sisters in Iman, Salamun alaykum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Question: who is Fatemah Zahra salamullahi alayha? Keep this question in the back of your mind. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. We're told there's a moment in time in the vicinity of the Kaaba, right in the proximity of the Kaaba in the early days of Islam. The Holy Prophet is praying. He has finished his prayer in the vicinity of the Kaaba and he begins to leave. The elder tribesmen of Mecca are watching this scene. And they're saying that they're seeing a moment in time where this person who they call Muhammad is leaving the proximity of the Kaaba, and when he's leaving the proximity of the Kaaba, he has a conversation with a man by the name of As ibn Wa'il, the father of Amr ibn As. They're having a conversation. These tribesmen, these elders, they don't know who's talking. They don't know what the conversation is. They can just see who the two people are who are conversing. After the conversation concludes, the Holy Prophet goes his way, and after some time the tribesmen, they call As ibn Wa'il. They say, As, what just happened? Who are you talking to? They knew. They wanted to hear it from him. Are you trying to make a pact with him? Are you trying to agree with him? Are you trying to develop a relationship with him? A connection with him? He said, oh, that conversation, no big deal. He said, I was speaking to the one who is Abtar. Abtar, a derogatory term, a negative term, an offensive term, which literally in Arabia at that point in time meant someone who is tailless. An animal that is tailless. A donkey, a horse, an animal that does not have a tail. A very derogatory term. The tailless element meant it was used for a person who does not have a male heir, a male son. Because in Arabia at that time, the male son was seen as the inheritor, the one who carries the message forward. At that point in time, they began to laugh and they began to chuckle. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not laugh at this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heard this, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it was as if He was saying that you are going to offend my Habib. Therefore He sent down Surah Kawthar as a response. Because there's two meanings to Kawthar. One, the scholars have said, is very clear that it is a stream, a pool, a body of water in Jannah, in paradise. The other meaning is very clear, the lineage and the progeny of Rasulullah, which continued through his daughter Fatemah Zahra salamullahi alayha. That they are saying that you are abtar, you are tailless, we will show you how much progeny and how much prosperity we will give you through your lineage. When we come to the position and understanding the Lady of Light, this is something that is such a pivotal discussion for the Shia population, not only the Shia population, for the Muslim world. But particularly for followers of the Ahlul Bayt, this is part and parcel of our identity. Four things never forget as a follower of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. These are part and parcel of your identity and my identity. With respect to all of the things that are in Islam, those are tantamount, those are important, we accept. But particularly as followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, remember these, for these were after Rasulullah. Up to Rasulullah we accept. We are with you, we are brethren with all Muslims. But for followers of Ahlul Bayt in particular, never forget Ghadir. Ghadir is part of our identity. Never forget Fadak. It is part of your identity. Never forget Karbala. It's part of your identity. And never forget the dhuhur of Imam Sahib al-Asri wa zaman. All of these are part and parcel of our identity, and they are things that are all interconnected, whether you and I realize it or not. And I will explain tonight, inshallah. In the brief moments that we have together, I wanted to cover in the next few moments, who is Fatemah al-Zahra and what is her position, not only in the eyes of Islam, not only in the eyes of history, but in the eyes of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. What is her position? What is Fadak and what happened at Fadak? Why does it have such important implications in Islamic history? And why is it something that not only the Ahlul Bayt emphasized, the ulama emphasized after them? And why is it that something that is needed to be repeated over and over again? What is the whole story of Fadak? And what is it that the scholars of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam have tried to draw our attention to with respect to the position and the persona of Fatemah al-Zahra, and how important it is in our lives to understand? What did Ayatollah Najafi Marashi realize from his research? And what is the connection of Fadak, of the calamity of Fatemah al-Zahra to the events of Karbala? These are the four topics that I would like to cover in the brief moments that we have together, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. We have a saying from the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, from the Ma'sumeen alayhi salam, from Imam al-Askari alayhi salam, where he says that we, the Imams, are a hujjah on the people. Ala al-khalaiq. Nahnu hujjatullahi ala al-khalaiq. The Imam says, we are a hujjah on the people. And our Jadda, our grandmother Fatemah al-Zahra is a hujjah on us. We listen to this. We hear this term, hujjah. What does this mean? Because the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, in particular the Imams, the Ma'sumeen, from Rasulullah to the Khatam, to the Imam of our time, these are the hujjah. Without a hujjah, according to our ulama, the world may cease to exist. There is a necessity, there is a need for this. But what does the word hujjah mean? It's something that typically people translate as proof. There's a big logical implication behind this that I want to settle very quickly. There are two words that you need to know, you and I need to know. There's ma'loom and majhul. Ma'loom refers to those things that are known. For example, that you know of and you have seen and you know its reality. So you know that it exists, number one. And number two, on top of that, you also have seen it, you know what it looks like exactly. Example, a horse. If I tell you what's a horse, you can think of what's a horse. It comes to your mind, you know its shape, you know its figure. You'll figure your color out, but you know what it looks like. You know it exists, and you know what it looks like. There's another category. That's majhul. Majhul are those things that you know it exists through your iman, through your belief. You know it exists, but you're not sure what it looks like. Example, a jinn. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran through Surah Jinn and other verses that there are different makhluk, creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that exist. Angels, for example. Jinns, for example. You know they exist, but do you know what they look like? We don't know what they look like. We may have perception of what we think they look like, but we don't know exactly. If you do, then I don't know what to say. I could maybe someone maybe need help. Nonetheless, we don't know exactly. Same with angels. At that point in time, the very quick conclusion that I am giving to what hujjat means. Some scholars argue that that thing which makes majhul, the thing that you know it exists but you don't know what it looks like, it turns majhul into ma'loom, that is the hujjat. That person, that entity, that body which turns that which is unknown into known, that is hujjah. The best example of this is Rasulullah Azam, Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The pagan Arabs didn't know anything. They didn't know left from right. They had certain things that were in their nature. There were certain traits that in their culture were good. They still had generosity. They would keep their word generally. But there were other things that they had problematic, such as respect of women and other these problems. But Rasulullah told them that there is one God and only one God. And he told them that there is heaven and hell. And he told them that there is an akhirah. And he told them all of these things. He was the one who converted in their mind that there was this reality to understand. And Rasulullah described it, and through his description they understood, and what was majhul became ma'loom. Now, Rasulullah described it, but there still may be some discrepancy in terms of not what Rasulullah said, our understanding of what Rasulullah said. These are important points. I won't get into this philosophical discussion. The idea now comes, what was it that the Imam was saying, that we are a hujjah over the people and our grandmother Fatemah is a hujjah over us? That means that the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt, they explain something to the people that they may not understand themselves. And Fatemah al-Zahra explained something to the Imams that they themselves may not understand. Allahu Akbar. Who is this personality? You will understand this through the writings of the ulama, such as Shaheed al-Sadr, Sayyid Munir and others. That this idea of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, you and I, when we commit sins, we ask for istighfar. The Ahlul Bayt, through the du'as, for example, of Imam Sajjad and all the other A'immah, they would also ask for istighfar. But they're ma'soom. What are they asking istighfar for? The ulama have given a response for this. Number one, they're teaching you and I the adab of dua. How should we ask? How should we do it? Number one. Number two, there is an element that they are seeking forgiveness of what? Not for any sin they have committed. The Ahlul Bayt have told us in authentic traditions that every single day their ma'rifah increases. The Ahlul Bayt's ma'rifah increases. The Imam's ma'rifah increases. What ma'rifah? The person who's at the peak of ma'rifah with respect to what? They said it's not with respect to what is halal and haram. They know that better than anyone else. Their ma'rifah increases daily with respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what we deduce from all of this is that the Ahlul Bayt teach you and I about the rules of Islam. They teach us about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But they are a hujjah, but they have a hujjah on them also. That is Fatemah al-Zahra. Fatemah al-Zahra salamullahi alayha, who is teaching other Ahlul Bayt the ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Akbar. That means that this personality must be investigated. This personality must be looked at. Because this personality is someone who has a secret with her that you and I can never neglect. A secret that she has been buried within this dunya, and it will be known in the next world. And we need to be mindful of that. What was Fadak? What was the story? What was the situation? Has true light been shed on this? Allow me to shed light on this matter. What was Fadak? They say typically Fadak was a garden. Fadak, in fact, was a land that had 7 gardens on it. It was in the vicinity, it was the property of the Jews of Khaybar. You remember Khaybar? For 39 days, 40 days, the Muslims had no solution. Marhab on the other side is coming forward and saying that who's coming to fight me? There was only one person, there was no strategy. Remember, the strategy in Islam would change from war to war. In Badr they had one strategy. And as time progressed, they had another strategy in Uhud. Rasulullah said, stay on this mountain. He told the archers, don't move. They saw the Baytul Mal, what would become the Baytul Mal. They moved. Rasulullah said, I told you not to. Then they attacked again. Then as time progressed, then they had Khandaq, where they dug a trench, a moat around their camp. At that point in time, Khaybar, there was no strategy. The only strategy was Ali ibn Abi Talib. If Imam Ali wasn't there, sallallahu alaihi Muhammad wa alihi. And he delivered victory. After Amir al-Mu'mineen delivered victory, the Jews of Khaybar accepted defeat. But what happened afterwards? Afterwards, they began to lie in ambush and retaliate against the Muslims. What would happen was, when a caravan would pass by their area, the Jews of Khaybar, when that would pass by the way, for those who have some question about what Islam is against other religions, other faiths, if you ask experts of the Quran, I'm answering a problem that many youth face that they don't know the answer to. Whenever, you can ask Karen Armstrong, who I met personally, and other writers as well. Whenever Islam says, generally when it's saying the Jews or the Christians, it's many times with respect to these issues, it's talking about a particular person or a particular tribe. It's not a general rule that you apply to everyone. Yes, the general rule is when Islam says in terms of nearness, you will find the closest ones to you, O Muslims, are the Christians. That's a general principle. But whenever there is some act that can be perceived as aggressive, it's very clear that the Quran is saying that about a particular person or a particular tribe, not any across the board. So what happened? They used to look at the caravans passing by, and they would look at and try to grab all the Muslims and kill them as revenge, as retaliation. Who likes to lose? They lost their battle, they lost the war, so they would attack. When this news reached Rasulullah, he says the Jews of Khaybar, they've lost. The Khaybar people, they've lost. But now they're laying besiege and they're attacking and ambushing the caravans, and they're killing Muslims who are innocent. What shall we do? Rasulullah at that point in time, he tells Amir al-Mu'mineen, he tells Imam Ali, go towards Khaybar and talk to them. Try to rationalize with them. Talk to them. Amir al-Mu'mineen goes back to Khaybar. Now imagine you've already lost at one point in time, and the person who has defeated you comes against you. So these people are looking at Ali ibn Abi Talib, the same one who ended and finished Marhab, and they're looking at him and he's coming. And at that point in time, Amir al-Mu'mineen begins to converse with them. He says that we have received news that you are ambushing our caravans and you are killing innocent Muslims. He said, if you want to take revenge against me. I'm the one who killed Marhab. Come, and I'm ready to fight you the same way I fought you that day. They said, no, we don't want any war, we don't want any fight. Because they had seen what damage Ali ibn Abi Talib had done. They had seen what he had done. When they saw what he had done, they said, no, we don't want to fight. He said, I have not come as a fighter today. I have not come to fight. I've actually come as a muballigh today. I've come to do tabligh. I'm not here to fight. He says, can we come to a resolution here? They came to a resolution. The resolution that they came to was that the Jews of Khaybar said, we don't want to fight, we don't want bloodshed. We ask for forgiveness for all the Muslims we've killed, we've ambushed, we ask for forgiveness. Number two, we are willing to give you the jizya, the payment that non-Muslims pay in the Muslim state to the government. We're willing to pay. By the way, sometimes people ask a question about why jizya, is this unfair? If you know and read the entire rules of jizya, you wouldn't say that. Why? Because in the instance of a non-Muslim community, a Jewish community, Christian community, other community, paying the jizya to the Islamic State, the Islamic Empire, the responsibility then becomes of the Islamic Empire to look after and make sure that those people are safe. The Christians and Jews in their territory, number one. Number two, the Jews and Christians and others in those Sabians in those places are not obligated to go to war, but Muslims are obligated. Muslims are obligated to defend them. That's why the jizya was in place. Nonetheless, the Khaybarites themselves said, we will pay the jizya, no problem, we'll take care of it. And they said on top of that, number 3, we have this land called Fadak. It has 7 gardens on it, 7 date palm orchards. At that time, if you had a date palm orchard, you were set financially. And they had 7 of them. They said, we want to gift this to you. At that point in time, Amir al-Mu'mineen comes back to Rasulullah. Says, Ya Ali, what happened? He says, I talked to them. We came to an agreement. He said, what's the agreement? The agreement is that they ask for forgiveness. They're willing to pay jizya. And on top of that, they're giving this land called Fadak, which has 7 gardens on it. He said, very well. Was there any bloodshed? Did you draw your sword? No. Was there any war? No. Now, here is where the principle comes in. A very important point of how Fadak was obtained was the fact of the matter that it was obtained in a manner that there was no war, no bloodshed that took place. This is important and significant and will come around again. Why? Because afterwards, Rasulullah would earn 4 million dirhams in revenue from the land of Fadak. He would use that money, of course not on himself, he would use that money in order to deal with and take care of the affairs of the Muslims, their expenses. How did this become known? This became known after Saqifa happened. Now, what I'm going to address in the next few moments is something that is academic historical facts within Islam. It's very important to discuss these things. Why? Now, I want it to be very clear, not my view, the view of ulama. When we talk about unity in our modern world, what does unity mean? Unity is important. Our ulama have said it's important. Syed Sistani and other ulama have said we must be united with our brethren in Islam. But one point that must be noted, that unity is not equivalent to compromise. I cannot say that I will unite with other Muslim brothers or sisters, I will unite with other Muslim ummah at the expense of my own aqidah and my iman. No. This must be made clear. Why? Shaykh Mutahari has outlined this. He said, what is the definition of unity? We must define this. I'm giving this answer because this causes problems globally, many places. In terms of unity, he says with other Muslims, he says the one definition is you have the majority opinion. The majority opinion gets imposed on the minority. This is scenario 1. So for example, in a world where the Ahl Sunnah is a majority and the Shia are a minority, what you do is you take the view of the Ahl Sunnah and you impose it on the Shia. And so there becomes one sect or one group, that is Ahl Sunnah. Is there consensus among Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah? That's another argument altogether. Nonetheless, that's the argument that he said. One example is this. He said the other example is you take the Shia community and you take the Sunni community. You take their belief system, you take the commonalities and you remove the differences. So whatever is common, we take together. Whatever is different between the two, we remove these. So if the differences we don't talk about, we discuss it, we form a new sect, a new group, a sort of sushi religion, if you will, new form. He says the third option is I don't say that compromise is any of these. I say compromise is not with respect to what I believe and you believe. No, compromise is none of that. It's not unity. That's not unity. Unity doesn't have to do with aqidah. He says unity is where I come forward and I say any Muslim, their life, honor, dignity is sacred. And if I accept that, I will not do takfir on other Muslims. That means I will not say this other person who is saying they're a Muslim, they're a kafir, and I will not legitimize spilling of their blood. A la terrorist groups today, who come forward and do the most terrorism against Muslims. This is what he said. The first situation, he said, the first scenario where the majority imposes on the minority, that's not acceptable. Because the minority will never accept it. He said the second scenario, where you take the commonalities and you remove the differences, the sushi example, he said that won't work either. Because the differences, they exist for real reasons. And then he says the third is the only real definition of what unity means. Unity means that I keep my aqidah, you keep your aqidah, you keep your belief system. But when it comes to your honor, your dignity, your property, I hold that as sacred. And so I don't do takfir on you, I don't call you a kafir, and I don't legitimize spilling of your blood or demoting your integrity and your honor. This is what arises in many of our communities when this is not spelled out. When that is not made clear, because people think unity, they think it means compromise. No way. And a beautiful example of this is from Allama Arif al-Husseini. Allama Arif al-Husseini was the person who was the person following in the footsteps of Sayyid Khomeini. He was in Pakistan. Many people thought he was going to bring the revolution there. Whether that is true or not, that's for historians. But he was martyred, he was killed. When he was killed, he was somebody who was working very actively for Muslim unity. In fact, many Shias may have said that he was going overboard, and they were not sure what his view was. But he was adamant that Shias and Sunnis in that country must unite. I'm sharing this because those principles are important, especially with our global scenario throughout the times. Why? He said they had a unity conference that was done there in Pakistan. The unity conference brought members from the whole spectrum. If you know, just as a background, Pakistan is that country which has the second largest majority of Sunnis and the second largest majority of Shias in one roof. Because number one in terms of Ahlul Sunnah population is Indonesia. After Indonesia, in terms of Ahlul Sunnah, number two is in Pakistan. And in terms of the Shia population, after Iran, number two is Pakistan. So there's these two juggernauts in that same space. So this is something that's pertinent for the world. Why? So they were having a gathering of all the different communities. When the time for the azan came, he asked a Shia member of the community to recite the azan. Now, before I say this, keep all this to the side. Is azan wajib or not? Keep that to the side. I know you know the answer. Is Aliun Wali Allah part of the azan wajib? Not. Keep that to the side. And also, what is compromise? Keep that to the side. This definition is as per Allama Arif al-Husseini, his definition, who was martyred. You'll have to ask him in Yawm al-Qiyamah what his view was. I'm sharing it with you. What did he say? So the person who began to recite the azan was from the Shia community. When he began to recite the azan at that point in time, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu an la ilaha, Ashhadu an Muhammad Rasulullah. He skipped Ali, Ashhadu an Ali wali Allah. He skipped it. He was a Shia. Allama stood up, he looked at him, he said, what just happened? What did you just do? He said, he looked at the crowd, he says, there's all different types of Muslims here, not just Shias. I thought that for unity, I'll just skip it, I'll move over. He got up right there. And he looked at the crowd, he addressed the crowd, he said, hold on just a second, just a moment. I want to make something clear. That we have gathered here for a unity conference, we have gathered here to unite, to draw bridges, this is what we should do, and this is what we must do. But I want to make something clear. He drew a line in front of them with his stick. And he said, this is my line of Shi'ism. I will not move an inch back from it. I am born a Shia, I will die a Shia. Unity does not mean compromise in belief. If I believe Ashhadu anna Ali and I'm reciting the azan, I will continue reciting the azan. And neither do I expect you to compromise on your faith, the same way you should not expect me. Why is this important? Why is this pertinent? This is extremely pertinent because if you look at the Shia world, we're already a minority within the Muslim population. Are we not? 15 to 20% around the globe. If I begin to think that unity means compromise of my belief system, then what ends up happening is that my next generations don't know why I am Shia. And if you don't believe me, this has happened. There is a theory that many Sufi Muslims were actually Shias in intergenerational taqiyya. In one generation, they were in taqiyya. In one generation, maybe you can solve the problem. But as the problem progresses intergenerationally, 2-3 generations down the line, they don't know what their belief system was. And that's why you find Sadat, who are from many times Sufi households, they say that we are Ahlul Sunnah, but we are from the line of the progeny of the Ahlul Bayt. How? How did that happen? One part was there was severe persecution against the Shia, no doubt. I've told you before and I'll remind you. There was a time in history where they would not line the walls in the history of Baghdad until they spilt the blood of a Sayyid Hassani in the cement. So those numbers of Shia that were higher, they began to be reduced. In Afghanistan, they had the Iron Amir, Abdur Rahman Khan, 100 years ago, systematic eradication and genocide of Shias. They had a huge population of Shias. Now it's less than 2%, small population. I say this because these things must be discussed and understood in an academic historical framework. Now, the ulama have also said we are not to disrespect any notable or revered figures on the other side. I accept. Fair. But I must be able to say in an academic historical environment about what happened. Otherwise my generations will not know. This is the motivation behind the following. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. When Lady Zahra found out that Fadak was taken, when she found out about this, she was taking care of the affairs of Fadak the same way her mother was taking care of the affairs of their business. And there were people who were working on the land of Fadak. She would make sure that their wages were paid and all of these things. She would manage it from the home. When she would manage it, we're told that when she found out that the land of Fadak had been usurped and taken, so what happened? Because in Islam there's a principle, the laborer, the person who's working, there's a principle that you pay the laborer before their sweat dries. They had been working and this land has been usurped. At that point in time, Lady Fatemah was asking, what's going on? They said this land's been usurped. By who? By the Hakim, the ruler of the time. When this news reached her, keep in mind, there are 2 doors that Lady Fatemah can take to go to Masjid al-Nabawi. If you remember history, you will know that there were doors that opened into Masjid al-Nabawi for the different companions. And if you remember, Dua Nudba, Sadd al-Abwaba illa Baba, that all the doors were closed except for the door of Lady Fatemah and Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen. That door still opened into the masjid. She could have entered into the masjid from that door. She didn't. She said, well, should I enter from my own door or should I enter from the main central door? She entered into the masjid with her hijab into the central door of the Masjid Nabawi. Why? The ulama say it's because somebody may have argued that if she came from her side door, her door that opened directly into the masjid, somebody said we didn't see her. She wanted it to be known that she is entering and she has an argument to make. She has a point to make. When she came forward, there was a conversation that ensued. The Hakim, the ruler, sitting there, and at that point in time, the discussion ensues about Fadak. Why have you taken Fadak? At that point in time, he says, the ruler says that I am someone who have heard and others have heard a tradition from your father, the Prophet. So what's the tradition? The tradition says that the prophets, we the tribe of the prophets, we do not inherit and we do not leave any inheritors. We do not leave any inheritance and inheritors. So therefore we don't get inheritance and we don't give inheritance. That's what it is. Very well. At that point in time, the Lady of Light, she came forward and she said that I have a document from my father that's signed by him that says that he gifted Fadak to me during his lifetime. Why is this pertinent? It's very important to note, especially for Muslims, that when was Fadak gifted to Rasulullah? Fadak was gifted right after Khaybar in the 7th year of Hijrah. Rasulullah died in what year of Hijrah? The 11th year of Hijrah. There was a 4-year gap between Khaybar and the moment the Prophet died. I say this because Rasulullah was known as Sadiq and Amin before he announced his prophethood. And even on the night of Hijrah, when they're going from one place to the other, from Mecca to Medina, he told Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, he told Imam Ali that do not come to Medina until and unless you have given away the trust, given back to them, the trust that have been left to me, the property of other people who are not even Muslims. Give them back their trust. This Sadiq and Amin Prophet. To make it clear even further, allow me to share. There's a moment in time by a man by the name of Aswad. He was selling his horse in Arabia. When he was selling his horse in Arabia, Arabians had this, and human nature loves horses. If you say that's just that time. And I'll tell you till this day we have an infatuation with horses. What's the logo of Ferrari, huh? Till this day. And by the way, at that time, what was the Ferrari of that time in that era? It was a red horse. That was the best that you could do. This man comes and he's trying to sell his horse, and Rasulullah meets him in the market. When he meets him in the market, he begins to have a conversation with him. When he begins to have a conversation, they come to an agreement about this horse. Rasulullah says, I don't have the money on me right now, but I trust, rest assured, I will get you your money, but we have an agreement. He says, deal? Deal. So he said, then you will give me the horse and I'll give you your money. It's in my house, I have it in my drawer, I'll bring it back for you. He says, very well. Will we have an agreement? We have an agreement. Very good. When Rasulullah went back, at that point in time we're told that some other people passed by and they said, this is a nice horse, we want to get a stake in it. He said, how much? He said, I actually already sold it. He said, who did you sell it to? I sold it to Muhammad. He said, you sold it to him? He said, if he bought it, it must be something special. He said, how much? He said, that much. He said that, okay, what if we pay you more? You know, fear and greed, 2 elements of human nature that never go away. They govern the stock market and many other markets in our world. At that point in time, he says, very well. They said, we'll pay you more. He said, very well. Rasulullah comes back. He says, we made our deal, here's the money. He said, what's this all about? He said, no, we just made a deal. Rasulullah saying that we made a deal, we made an agreement, and you agreed, I agreed, and here's the money, and I'll take the horse. He said, do you have any witnesses? At that time, Rasulullah looked at him, he said, no, I don't have witnesses, but we made an agreement. He said, if you don't have any witnesses, I'm sorry. I must sell it to someone else. Oh, I have these purchases right here. At that point in time, Rasulullah is in this predicament where he knows he's Sadiq and Ameen, the other party also knows he's Sadiq and Ameen, but he doesn't have any witnesses. Bilal is passing by. When Bilal is passing by at that point in time, we're told, when Bilal is passing by, he says, Ya Rasulullah, what are you doing in the bazaar? What are you doing in the marketplace? He says, you know, I just had made a deal with someone about a horse. I went to go get the money, I came back, and now he's saying we don't have a deal. He's trying to sell it to someone else. He said, what's the problem? He says, he said, do you have any witnesses? He said, I don't have any witnesses. Bilal says, Ya Rasulullah, you don't have a witness? He says, I'm your witness. He says, Bilal saying he's my witness. The man said, Muhammad, he said, Ya Rasulullah, he wasn't even there when we were having the pact. He said, Bilal, technically he has a point, you weren't here. He said, then how are you becoming my witness? He says, you didn't see the pact happen. You didn't see the agreement happen. How are you doing it? Bilal said, Ya Rasulullah, I am your witness. He said, how? He said, Ya Rasulullah, you said that you made a pact with him, but I didn't see it. He said, yes. He said, but you said there is Allah. Did I see Allah? You said there is Hisab, Kitab, there is Jannah, Dozakh, there is all of this. Did I see it? He said, I understood my Islam, understood my Creator, I understood everything through you and your word. And because I entrusted that you are Sadiq and Ameen, and now I need some witness and I need the eyes in order to see that there was an agreement between you two. At that point in time, the tides turned. And it instilled in his heart that this person is Sadiq and Ameen. Why do I say this? This Rasulullah, when money and income came, we're told, from Bahrain, some charity had come. This same Prophet, he comes forward, and in the middle of the night, he says that all of this income that has come forward, all of it must be distributed amongst the Muslims. He said, bring me the list of all the poor and orphans in the city. At that time, the Muslim said, Ya Rasulullah, you want to distribute at this time, at this hour of night, in the middle of nowhere? He said, what about in the morning? He said, can any of you give me a guarantee that I will live till tomorrow morning? Not a single person said a word. He said, then allow me to distribute, because I will be asked on Yawm al-Qiyamah if I slept and this was in my trust. I'm saying this Prophet, who from the 7th year of Hijrah to 11th year of Hijrah, he will usurp the people's property? How does that make sense? Nonetheless, Fatemah Zahra began to speak. She said, I have this letter from my father. And then they said, who's your witnesses? She said, I have witnesses. She said, my witnesses, number one is Ali ibn Abi Talib. Who else? Imam Hassan. Who else? Imam Hussein. Who else? Ayman, who we have a tradition about Ayman that Rasulullah said. Even our Muslim brothers accept that Ayman's, even though she is a woman, even though she is a female, her evidence is equal to 2 people. Rasulullah had said this. At that point in time when this discussion took place, they came back and they said, we cannot accept the witness of Ali because he's your husband, he has a share in this. Your sons, Hassan and Hussein, they have a share in this. And Ayman, we cannot accept because she is a woman, she has half the dalil or witness. All of this went out that point. Now, Fatemah Zahra could have said that I will bring other witnesses. They could have been. Salman, Abu Dhar, Miqdad, Qambar, these people could have come and she could have used them as witnesses, but she didn't. Then she began to say, okay, what is your proof again? Reiterate it to me, repeat it to me. He said, we have a tradition from your father that says the prophets don't inherit and do not give inheritance. She said, very well. She said, use the hadith, right? Very well. Then she began to recite verses of the Quran one after the other. And she recited one. She said, وَوَارِثَ سُلَيْمَانَ دَاوُود. Sulaiman and Dawood, there was inheritance there. And then he said, what's your proof in response to that? He repeated the same hadith. Then she recited other verses. And she continued in a way, وَآتِ ذِي الْقُرْبَ حَقَّهُ, and give the near ones their rights. And then he repeated again. She went through and recited 40 verses of the Quran. And at that point in time, he kept responding with one hadith. What was she trying to expose? Maybe, perhaps some scholars say there was someone who was sitting nearby who at some point in history had said, Hasbuna kitab Allah. For us, the book of Allah is sufficient. Lady Fatemah Zahra said that I am telling you from the Quran, what is your answer? You're giving me hadith? She had exposed every moment of what they had said. Why is this important? Because historically, Shias, in particular Sadat and others as well, they would always make sure that their children memorize the sermon and the khutbah of Fadak. Why? They would memorize the sermon and the khutbah of Fadak because they said that no matter where we go, from Arabia to Persia to India, throughout the globe, as long as we travel, we may be losing our culture, but we must never lose our Shia identity. And part of our Shia identity is the sermon of khutbah of Fadakiyah. Allahumma salli. I'm leaving everything, I'm sharing with you one tradition. Allama Ayatullah Najafi Marashi, who has the largest library in all of Asia. Largest library in the world, Library of Congress. Largest library in Asia, Najafi Marashi Library. He had gone through as many books as an individual can go through in their life. When he read all of these books, he wrote a wasiyah to his son, a will to his son. When he wrote this wasiyah and this will to his son, he wrote 25 points. There was a public and a private will, by the way. In the public one, 25 points, 3 of them related directly to Fatemah Zahra. He said, number 1, my son, with respect to Fatemah Zahra, number 1, make sure that you never forget the tasbih of Fatemah Zahra, no matter what. No matter where you are, it will help you in your life. He said, number 2, never forget in the qunut of your salah to say bihaqqi Fatemah wa abiha wa ba'liha wa baniha wa sirral mustawdi'a fiha an tusalli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. He said never forget, because by Fatemah and her father and her husband and her sons and the secret with which she is buried, that secret will be known on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Her real reality is not known in this dunya, it's known in the akhirah. And then finally he said, my son, never neglect and never forget the khutbah fadakiyah of Fatemah Zahra. He said that is something that the biggest scholars of the Arabic language have neglected it in terms of its linguistics. The biggest scholars of religion have neglected it. Never forget it, memorize it, embed it in your heart and your mind. This scholar is telling you, develop that relationship with Lady Fatemah, I tell you, because Ghadir is connected to Fadak, and Fadak is connected to Karbala, and Karbala is connected to the Zuhur of Arma. The poet says, Falak pe likha hua waqia Ghadir ka hai. Falak pe likha hua waqia Ghadir ka hai. Ye aftab nahi, hashiya Ghadir ka hai. ये आफ्ताब नहीं हाशिया गदीर का है, और लगाने आग जो आया है बैते ज़हरा पर, लगाने आग जो आया है बैते ज़हरा पर, वो कोई और नहीं दिल जला गदीर का है. लगाने आग जो आया है बैते ज़हरा पर, वो कोई और नहीं दिल जला गदीर का है. दुरूद भेजो मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद. दलीले बैत फासिक रवा रखी गई थी, मदीने में बिनाए करबला रखी गई थी. बिना मीन्स फाउंडेशन. मदीने में बिनाए करबला रखी गई थी. और बहुत मुश्किल मराहिल आ पड़े थे रास्ते में, बहुत मुश्किल मराहिल आ पड़े थे रास्ते में, सोजादे राह में खाके शिफा रखी गई थी. बहुत मुश्किल मराहिल आ पड़े थे रास्ते में, सोजादे राह में खाके शिफा रखी गई थी. That connection between the 4 that I've mentioned, Ghadir, to Fadak, to Karbala, to Zuhur, never forget it. Because our Imam, the Imam of our time, he is awaiting to avenge what happened at Karbala. And the foundation of Karbala was laid in Medina. We're told, according to Shibli Nomani, who's not a Shia scholar, even he accepts. He said that they might have brought fire to the door of Fatemah. Maybe they didn't intend to use it. He's giving them the benefit of the doubt. But they brought fire. You bring fire to the door of the daughter of Rasulullah? You try to justify that? Shibli Nomani, Al-Faruq, Sunni scholar, big scholar. At that point in time, when they come to the door, they say, send Abul Hassan out, send Ali ibn Abi Talib out. When they say send Ali ibn Abi Talib out at that point in time, Imam Hassan, he's going towards the door. Lady Fatemah, she begins to go towards the door. Imam Amir al-Mu'minin, Imam Ali was writing a tafsir of the Quran. That's what he had dedicated much of his time to. He said, I'm not interested in doing bay'ah. They had sent people and he had rejected. At that point in time, we're told the Lady of Light, she goes to the door and she says that in this house are the sons of Rasulullah, Hassan and Hussein, al-Hassanain. And he said a statement at that point in time, wa'in, and let it be. So what? Let it happen. We'll still come to the door with fire and we'll burn. At that point in time, when this happened, when this occurred, Lady Fatemah, she tried to defend and she said, I will not open this door. At that point, they began to push. The ulama say that someone took their foot and put it on the ledge of the door. Fatemah Zahra was behind the door. She was expecting her child. In this door were some nails. At that point in time, when he put his foot on the door, they say that he pushed it in such a way that this door fell on Fatemah Zahra. She began to wail and scream. At that point in time, when she began to wail and scream, at that point, she knew that her child, Muhsin, in infancy, had been lost. He had been aborted. He had died in infancy. At that point in time, this scenario occurred. The Lady of Light, she would cry in the day and in the night. She would say, "Subbat alayya masaibun, law annaha subbat ala al-ayyam sirna layaliya." Baba Jan, my father, that after you, the musibah that befell me, if they fell on the days, they would become the dark nights. At that time, Imam Amir al-Mu'minin, someone asked the heart of Imam Amir al-Mu'minin. Ask him what went through his heart. At that point in time, Imam Amir al-Mu'minin, the people of Medina sent a message to Imam Ali. They said, "Oh Ali, tell your wife Fatemah, the daughter of Rasulullah, tell her to cry in the day or tell her to cry in the night, but not both, because we are not able to sleep." At that point in time, Imam Amir al-Mu'minin delivers the message. Lady Fatemah, she wishes to join Rasulullah. One day, she comes in her house. She comes to Fidda. She says, "Today I know is my last day on this earth. This is my last day." She says, "I'm going to go to my room and I'm going to recite the Quran. And then when you do not hear me reciting the Quran anymore, know that I have left this world." At that point in time, she goes and she says that I'm beginning to recite, but make sure my children, Hassan and Hussein, they will come in a few moments. Make sure they have eaten. Make sure they are taken care of. She begins to recite. At that point in time, Fidda's listening, she's hearing, and she's hearing the recitation of the Quran. But after some time, it becomes quiet. When it becomes quiet, she hears a knock on the door. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein enter. At that moment, they say, "Where is our mother, Fatemah Zahra?" She says, "Oh children, have something to eat. Have something to eat first." And they say, "Have you ever seen us eat anything without our mother, Fatemah Zahra?" At that moment, they enter into the room. They see the soul of Fatemah Zahra has left. They go, and this is what Ayatollah Wahid al-Khurasani said. He said, "How far is the distance from the house of Fatemah to Masjid al-Nabawi?" The door opens into the masjid. He said they went into the masjid. They saw Imam Ali. They stood to their father. "Our father, Baba, our mother Fatemah Zahra has left this earth." At that point in time, he says he took one step, he fell down onto the ground. Fatah Khaybar, Fatah Badr Hunayn, the strongest man in all of Arabia, he fell to the ground unconscious. He got up, he took a few more steps, he fell again to the ground. He says 3 times Ali al-Murtada fell to the ground before he got to the Lady of Light, Fatemah Zahra. What broke Ali's heart, Allah knows. At that moment, Amir al-Mu'minin, he made all the preparations. He made all the funeral arrangements. When he made all the funeral arrangements, we are told He gathered all of the children. When he gathered all of the children, after he had given the kafan, at some moment, he invited Imam Hassan, and he invited the different members of Ahlul Bayt, Sayyidah Zainab, and he told them all to gather and see your mother for the final time. There was one child who didn't go. Who was it? It was Hussein. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen said, Hussein, it's your mother, will you not see her? He says, I have never gone to my mother until she has called me herself. I'm not going until my mother calls me. Sheikh Abbas Qummi, Sahib Mafati al-Jinan, says, this broke Zahra's heart after the grave. She extended her hands. She said, my son Hussein, come to your mother. Ajrukum ala Allah, ajrukum ala Allah. These will be your zamana on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Just listen and give 2 more minutes to Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. We are told that Salman, after the tragedy, after the calamity, when Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen was giving ghusl to Sayyidah Zahra, at that point in time, he says, my Mawla, my master, can I ask you one question? He says, what is it? If anyone asks me, who is the bravest man in all of Arabia? Who is the strongest man in all of Arabia? I would give them your name. He says, very well. He says, what's your question? He says, when you were giving ghusl to Fatemah Zahra, I heard you scream in a way I have never heard you scream. He says, what happened? He says, don't ask me what happened. Who is there to ask me what went through my heart? My wife, Fatemah Zahra, her ribs had been broken. She never told me what... She never told me what happened to her. There was an alim in Iran. He was reciting the musibah and the tragedy, akhri, the final thing. He was reciting the musibah of Fatemah Zahra. There is so much musibah. I'm leaving everything. I'm telling you this one thing. He recited the musibah of Fatemah Zahra. When he got down from the mimbar, they had the tabarruk, they had everything. There was one person who was sitting in the center. He was crying from the moment of musibah up until everyone was ready to go. Agha went. He said, everyone's left. You're still sitting crying. He says, what happened? What happened to you? What broke your heart? He said that, Agha, I am a doctor, but my specialty is orthopedics. I am a specialist in the bones. I'm crying because I heard Fatemah Zahra's ribs broke, and I know what pain someone goes through. How did she go through all of those days and still live? Allah knows. But Sayyidah Zainab, ask her heart. Sayyidatun Nisa al-Alameen, ask your daughter Zainab. She was only a few yards away. The horses of Yazid began to trample over the body of Sayyid Shahadat. What went through the heart of Zainab? Allah knows.
ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا أمير المؤمنين صلى الله عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين صلى الله عليك يا حسن المجتبى السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. معتم يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. ये गुर्बत अली है, ये गुर्बत अली है, ये गुर्बत अली है, ये गुर्बत अली غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے۔ آواز آ رہی ہے میں بنت مصطفیٰ ہوں، بابا کے کلمہ گویو میں ہی تو فاطمہ ہوں، پہچاننے سے دنیا انکار کر رہی ہے، یہ غربت علی 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 ہے۔ سن کر سلام حیدر کوئی نہیں ہے رکتا، واجب نہیں سمجھتا کوئی جواب دینا، افسوس فاطمہ بھی یہ بات جانتی ہے، یہ غربت علی 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 ہے۔ مسجد میں سر جھکائے مولا کھڑے ہوئے ہیں، حاکم کی تہمتوں کو چپ چاپ سن رہے ہیں، صدیقہ سب کے آگے جھٹلائی جا رہی ہے، یہ غربت علی 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 ہے۔ کہتی ہے رو کے زہرا جان نہ دوں گی تنہا، پٹکے میں مرتضیٰ کے ہے ہاتھ سیدہ کا، اب ہے کسی کا درہ اور دوخ کرے نبی ہے، یہ غربت علی 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 ہے۔ ایک کوچے میں پہنچ کر دیکھا ہے مجتبیٰ نے، ظالم نے ضرب ماری کیسے خدا ہی جانے، بنت نبی زمین پر گشخا کے گر پڑی ہے، یہ غربت علی 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 ہے۔ پہلو بھی ہے شکستہ، ہاتھوں میں بھی ہے چھالے، ہے آپ کی امانت اب آپ کے حوالے، یہ کہہ کے مرتضیٰ نے میت نبی کو دی ہے، یہ غربت علی 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 ہے۔ کافی ہے بس یہ فقرہ رونے کو زندگی بھر، ہاتھوں کو اپنے اکثر کہتے تھے ملک حیدر، خیبر شکن کی زوجہ گھٹ گھٹ کے مر گئی ہے، یہ غربت علی 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 ہے۔ کیسے لکھے تکلم غربت علی ولی کی، زوجہ صحابیوں کے دربار میں گئی تھی، بیٹی شرابیوں کے دربار میں گئی ہے، یہ غربت علی 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 ہے۔
یا حال یہ امت نے، کیا حال یہ امت نے، ظاہرہ کا بنایا ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔ کیا حال یہ امت نے زہرا کا بنایا ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔ خاتون کوئی غم سے یوں چور نہیں دیکھی، ایسی کوئی دنیا میں مستور نہیں دیکھی، 18 برس میں ہی لگتی جو ضعیفہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔ دربار میں ظالم نے کی ایسی پذیرائی، کس طرح سے تو بی بی پھر لوٹ کے گھر آئی، بالوں کی سفیدی نے سب حال سنایا ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔ تو روتی رہی گھر میں حیدر سے بھی چھپ چھپ کے، عصمت کی طرح دکھ بھی پردے میں رہے تیرے، کچھ درد تیرے بی بی بس جانتی فضا
شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔ دو ایسے جنازے ہیں تاریخ میں جو اٹھے، بس گئے کئی لوگوں نے دونوں کو دیے کاندھے، ایک فاطمہ زہرا ہے، ایک باری سکینہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔ مہدی سے کوئی پوچھے کیا اس پہ گزرتی ہے، آواز بقیہ سے جب رونے کی آتی ہے، آنکھوں سے لہو رو کر وہ بھی یہی کہتا ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔ کیا حال یہ امت نے زہرا کا بنایا ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے، پہلو بھی شکستہ ہے، تربت بھی شکستہ ہے۔
الفاتحہ۔
السلام علیکم یا ابا عبداللہ، السلام علیکم ابن رسول اللہ، السلام علیکم ابن امیر المؤمنین ابن سید الوسیین، السلام علیکم یا فاطمہ الزہرا سیدتی نساء العالمین، السلام علیکم حسن المجتبی، السلام علی الحسین وعلی علی ابن الحسین وعلی اولاد الحسین وعلی اصحاب الحسین، خصوصاً سیدی مولا ابو الفضل العباس واختک زینب وبنتک سکینہ جمیعاً ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔ السلام علیکم یا مولا یا غریب الغربا السلطان ابو الحسن مولانا علی ابن موسیٰ الرضا، کن شفیعنا و شفیع والدینا فی یوم الجزاء ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔ السلام علیکم یا مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان سیدی الامان 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 من فتنة الزمان، السلام علیکم یا کعبۃ الایمان، السلام علیکم امام الانس والجان، عجل اللہ لک ما وعدک من النصر وظہور الامر ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔